What's happening? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is for you and this wonderful morning. It's currently Thursday morning for me, which is awesome. We got up and we got some staff done. We got to the gym, which is like the first time in ages, so that was an experience. So we're now just chilling, and I thought we'd do a vlog. I feel like I released like 3 vlogs early on in the week in quick succession, but then I kind of just dropped off the radar, which is annoying. Because I want to be releasing obviously constant and steady content for you guys, regardless of what they are, whether they just be chats with us regarding a random topic or something that just pops up during my day that I thought I'd talk to you guys about. Perfect. But yeah, the idea or my approach is going to be attempting to get one vlog out a day. Long story short, it's not all that long. Normally they're about 15-20 minutes long, which is quite easy. And it doesn't take too long to put together. So happy with that. So here's today's vlog. Thursday check-in. Not too sure what's going on. But the idea for the channel that I was thinking about the other night, I think it was last night, was I use my streams, so my Twitch streams, as a source of gameplay content. From there, we build on our gameplay content and we rip some of it out and push it onto YouTube. That way, if you're one of those people that maybe can't catch the streams due to time zones or other commitments or whatever, you can still jump on the YouTube channel and view and see what's going on. So that's the overall goal of the channel, which is awesome. And there's a few other things that I've been thinking about I want to start doing as well. Like on the weekend, I want to dedicate some time, a few hours every weekend, to just reading, researching, learning about some more software development principles and languages and so forth. Get a better understanding for that. Get my hands dirty, all the rest of it. Get myself some exposure, or not exposure, just some examples of work, if that makes sense. Increase and improve my skills. That sounds so cliche when you say it like that. It's like one of those, you watch one of those videos of some dude who's like, I'm a dancer, just gotta improve my skills. Like, that's literally what it felt like when I said it. So but yeah, so that's the overall goal, right? So long story short, what we're thinking about, so we just got to commit to that, which is going to be fun. And then we're going to be trying to clean up the old food that we eat as well, which will be another challenge. Yikes. That's fun. So what I wanted to talk to you guys today about is, there's 2 things. One of them being inspiration, and what sort of forms they come in, how we feel we get inspired. Do we need to visit or revisit a certain medium for inspiration, or is there a medium that you find is more likely to give you some form of motivation? And then we've got a pretty big question at the end of the video, but stay tuned for that. So something that depends how much you know me. I run a lot of the time, inspiration normally just hits me in the face. So my partner hates me for it, but when it comes to gift shopping, and the same with me, just like whatever I want to do or what I'm wanting to do or whatever, I kind of wait and let it hit me in the face. Like, it literally just smacks me in the face. I walk around, or I'm just existing, and then you come across something, whether it be a poster, an item, a video, anything like that, and then inspiration just sort of clicks. Can't explain how that happens, how it works, why it works, but it just does. It's not even so much inspiration, so much when I think about it. It's more, what's the word? I'm almost like systematically planning, but as part of that preparation and planning, I provide myself enough background context and information to just act on how my gut reacts to the situation. So quite frequently, this is another thing that kind of gets me when we talk about gut feeling and trusting your gut. I'm like, we're not really trusting our gut. We're making a decision based on how our stomach feels in certain situations. So again, it's still a perception, but it's essentially okay, cool. My stomach tightens up in certain situations. That could be like nervousness or like stress or so forth, and that's depending on how we perceive that. It's quite different in how like we approach and how we deal with that feeling. So the thing that I find with that sort of stuff is you can change that quite quickly over time, repetition, change in thought process, so on and so forth. You can adapt the way you react to the feeling in your gut. And I think that's a key thing, right? Everyone's like, oh, trust your gut. But again, it's just how you perceive those. So again, doesn't matter how your stomach feels. It could be you could feel anxious, you could feel nervous, you could be like, oh, that doesn't sound right. That face I pulled, my god. Doesn't feel right. Okay, cool. But then over time, you could be like, okay, when I feel this feeling, it's not, I don't want to go in there anymore. It's go in there. And I think over time, that's where it fundamentally becomes a bit weird to give that recommendation. It's almost like you might as well say just like do what you think is best, which I think has a different connotation to trusting your gut. One being when it's like do what you think is best, you're automatically giving someone, or like again, my perception could be wrong. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagree with me. But the connotation of you need to think it over, so extra time applied to that situation, whereas trusting your gut is in the moment, I'm switching between decisions and I make a decision in the moment. So I think that's quite it's not controversial, it's more understanding of what the statement means, or what the statement means. So I think that's key. So back to our original topic, which is inspiration and what sort of sources of inspiration do you get. I don't think necessarily there's a lot of source inspiration. There obviously is. So certain YouTube videos and certain content will inspire me. Certain conversations will inspire me with other people, engaging and interacting with them in sort of a somewhat meaningful way. Inspires me, or gives me sort of a boost of like energy, or sort of opens my outlook up a bit in relation to that. But generally speaking, the form of inspiration, or the thing that like gets me when I have to pick something, is I have enough contextual understanding of the topic or of the thing I'm looking at to be able to, in that moment, work through making a decision. So I can trust my gut in those situations, which is like, oh, I like this, oh, I don't like this, oh, I don't like that. Whereas when it's like, oh, you need to think it over, well, you put me in a whole different ballgame. I can guarantee you I'm probably a worse decision maker when I have to sit there and think about it. That's the honest truth, right? Like, I feel like in the moment, I feel like I come up with some pretty good ideas and then as soon as I mull them over, I start to question I sort of question myself when I'm doing it. So confidence levels go right down, and it just plateaus, like it just bottoms out. We're no longer effective. But I think in the moment, as long as I have the right understanding, it's that trusting your gut feature that really does take it out. Don't mind me and my screens are just dropping it out. I don't have another light source, so I need to look at another cam somewhere up there that's quite useful. So again, back into that inspiration piece, and I think that's where I wanted to sort of leave off on the inspiration piece. Now, there's a few things that I'd love for you guys to leave in the comments down below. Do you have any sources of inspiration that you normally find? So is it a podcast? Is it a video? Is it a certain person that you talk to? So on and so forth. And what are your thoughts on trusting your gut? Do you think it's a prime prime decision making process, or do you think it's purely just yourself understanding or perceiving what your gut is telling you, and then you would essentially attach your own meaning to it? But again, I'd like to hear your thoughts, whether you're a better decision maker when you sit there and think about something and mull it over and all the rest of it, or are you one of those people that, given the right contextual understanding, can go bang in the moment and make decisions? Obviously, I completely understand the fact that those are two different situations, and depending on the topic and the person, you could be in either one of those categories, so I totally understand it. But give us some general idea and some general feedback. Now, on to the actual, or not the actual topic, the prime topic for today. We wanted to bring up, why don't gingers have souls? Yeah, that's a good topic. We start talking about, oh look, these kids, again, I'm a ginger, I have red hair, so we're a ginger. So for me, I'm like, what's a soul? Like, what's one of these souls that you talk about? So for context purposes, let's just have a quick little look. What do we refer to? What is a soul? Okay, so a soul, as defined by Google, JK, it's not actually Google, the spiritual or immaterial part of a human being or animal regarded as immortal. Nice. So emotional or intellectual energy or intensity, especially as revealed in a work of art or an artistic performance. That's interesting. The first part of that second statement, I would highly agree with. I don't think so much revealed in an artistic performance. I don't think that's. I know a lot of people use it. It's like, oh, that performance took soul and it showed soul. To me, I'm like, ooh, not so much. But the key thing here is there's a few things mentioned in here that I want to bring out and be real key about. So the spiritual or immaterial part of a human being. So it's essentially just something that's not a physical part of us, but it essentially exists in us. And then there's emotional or intellectual energy or intensity. So again, the first part of that is just the emotional and intellectual energy. The intensity part, so on and so forth. That's fine. We can remove that from the conversation. Another one, which is the Wikipedia one, which we'll use. The soul in many religious, philosophical, and mythological traditions is the incorporeal essence of a living being. Soul or psyche are the mental abilities of a living being. Reason, character, feeling, consciousness, memory, perception, thinking, and then it goes on. So what this is essentially saying is again, depends on who you are, what you believe in. If you believe in obviously some form of religious or spiritual stuff, this probably makes a lot of sense. And I think what this comes around to is the explanation and understanding of why we can show stuff like empathy and sympathy and so forth. We are, all in all, by all descriptions, a mammal or like an animal, or a beast. So what that is, and the thing that sort of kind of differs from us to them in the long shot is, we're domesticated as fuck, long story short, but we're also quite quick to, or like we have the ability to be self-aware, and you see that in other primates, and other sort of animals with fairly high intelligence levels, but you also notice that we quite quickly show empathy and so on and so forth, and we display that. I know a lot of the animal kingdom does exactly the same thing, but I think for someone who may not be sort of aware of in line understanding the chemical reactions that happen within our body that generate those feelings, and then in combination with our essentially our brain that starts firing off electrons saying what's going on here, what's going on there, to adapt and deliver what needs to occur. For them, it's like, well, there needs to be something else, right? There needs to be something else that makes me fundamentally different to old Joe Blow over there, who's like my next door neighbor. Again, we've had very different upbringings and so forth, and that's where that obviously that discourse comes in relation to what they were exposed to previously, what they've done with their lives, so on and so forth. And for a lot of people, it would come down to, okay, cool, the whole chemical reaction idea fundamentally doesn't make sense, or I feel like there's holes and gaps in that system, again, without them really knowing what's going on. So, there must be something else that makes us who we are. And I think the next part of that, or the follow-on point to that is, if there's nothing physically there, there must be something that just hovers around us, that is essentially invisible, doesn't have a physical footprint, but it displays in us and who we are. Now, when we talk about the whole gingers being soulless business, now, given that conversation, not having a soul would mean you're none of the above there. Now, I don't want to break the meme. The meme's great. I use it all the time because YOLO. It's a thing. I embrace that sort of meme, but I still display, or I still have the ability to display these types of actions, emotions, and so forth. So, again, I play along with the meme. I had always said that I wanted to get essentially a tattoo. With if you've ever seen a Naruto episode, the kid gets essentially a demon bound within him. So my thing was, and I don't know if I'll do it, maybe in a few years' time. We'll see how we go. If we ever get a tattoo, it'll be one of them. We get essentially a binding circle on my body somewhere, don't know where yet. And the story is, they had to tear out my soul and rip it out, and then they had to fill it with, or like, because they were going to put something else inside me or whatever, they essentially had to rip out my soul and put it in. And that was going to be my story, if that makes sense, for that. So it had some meaning. But when you really look at it, like, to be honest, it's just a definition, a sort of a explanation for what we do as humans, or what our body does inherently with chemical releases and chemical production, so on and so forth. Everybody in the world, or not everybody, I'll rephrase that and clarify that. There's a lot of people in the world who are able to display those type of emotions and understanding, empathy and so forth. But then there's obviously a lot that don't or can't. So it's a bit of a toss up. So make sure we are down the bottom in the comments. Make sure you do leave a comment in regards to what you think about soul and what you think it really means, and how does that influence the way you go about doing your business. And do you believe that we do have not an inanimate, but a non-physical attachment to our bodies, that delivers our ability to be, what's it called, emotional, intellectual, well, obviously there, but again, just one of those things. So again, just a discussion, but otherwise, make sure you do go follow the YouTube channel, go over there and say hello, and we'll be uploading. Or make sure you follow. You're on YouTube, perfect. Hit the follow button, perfect. But otherwise, go check out that Twitter and a few other things. But yeah, we're going to be looking to post more content, have more discussions like these. So I'll be reaching out to you guys through, I don't know, videos, through Instagram, through YouTube, through Twitter, so on and so forth, in relation to what sort of content you want me to release next, or what sort of conversation we want to see in our vlog. And then we can do up some stuff. So I'm going to go. Peace out. I'm going to have a nap. F this. You'll have a great day. Go chill out. Go be with your families. Get that work done. Grind hard. But do go make sure you do follow the channel and give this one a thumbs up. Or if you think there's feedback needed, let me know and we'll update and go from there. But otherwise, peace.